the tools and the centre themselves slipped up. I mean, hotels like this are very experienced in setting up tools like whiteboards and overhead projectors and so on, but they're all human, and as I say, they're not the ones that are standing in front of the crowd when things don't go right. But one of the first things is if you've got a good supply of pens. That seems so obvious that it'll be stupid. Let's have a look. I'll do a presentation on a whiteboard. What have I got? I haven't got one pen. Okay, thanks, Gary.
Still.
This morning, when I came in, I had 3 pens here. Okay? 2 black ones and a red one. That should be plenty. Okay, but I haven't checked before I come up to do the presentation, and Murphy's Law is right. Now, Gary could have gone outside with a data show, and I'd be totally in the lurch. So now I'm doing my presentation. One of the things that I was a little bit disappointed with here, which I took for granted, was that they'd have chisel tip pens. Because with a big group, if I write Get Smart up here on the board, how clearly can you see that from the back, Brian? You can see it? Some of you can see it well, some of you not so well. Okay. How about now? We're quite lucky here, we've got good lighting. If I turn those lights on, the spots on, some of you won't be able to see very well because of the reflection. Another thing that's quite interesting, I watched a quite interesting presentation a little while ago in Auckland, and a guy had 2 pens. No idea what the difference is there? They look pretty much the same, don't they? That's a permanent marker. I don't know whether it was a practical joke or what happened, but he did his first page on the whiteboard with his permanent marker, and that was it, because he couldn't do any more. And the centre that he was doing it at didn't have any more whiteboards. They also didn't have any methyl ketone or whatever it is they use to, if there is anything that'll get rid of those things. But basically, as I say, they look the same. Don't take anything for granted. Use bold colours. I don't know why you can get a whole lot of light coloured whiteboard markers, but you can buy them in sets, and you can get yellows and light greens and all sorts of neat colours, pastel pinks, but you can't see them from more than about 10 feet away from the board. So you might be wanting to do a really pretty presentation. It's going to be a total waste of time if no one can read it. Don't just check that you've got all the pens, make sure that they're all wet. That's another fairly common thing that we fall for. And then you end up in a situation where you've got 3 or 4 pens sitting on the tops, hoping that some ink will drain down into the felt, so that eventually you can use them when the next one runs out. Make sure you've got a duster on hand, make sure the duster's clean and works efficiently. Cleaning fluid. Most systems now have straight erasable watercolour markers. Some hotels, some centres provide a spray bottle of water that you can use to help clean the whiteboard with. And just be careful how much water you use, because you can end up with a really smudgy mess. And again, I've seen experienced presenters make mistakes like that. Use the duster to clean the whiteboards and not your hands. Lots of people fall into that trap where they just want to make a tiny change, no adjustment, oh, that was slightly wrong, just get rid of that. I had a teacher when I was at high school called Chalky. Most of you can probably guess why he was called Chalky. Because basically what used to happen is that's the sort of thing he'd do an adjustment here and an adjustment there, then he'd scratch his face, then he'd scratch somewhere else, and he'd have white dust marks all over him. And the guy was extremely intelligent, he was a fantastic teacher, nice guy, but he got ridiculed all the time because of a simple little error like that. If you're under a spotlight and suddenly you're starting to get a black smudge up here and a black smudge over here, people are going to notice that, and that's going to detract from your presentation. Basically, they're going to start noticing things like that instead of what you're actually trying to talk to them about. Check the lighting from all parts of the room. If you've got spotlights, like I said before, then some parts of the room are likely to get reflection, especially if it's a fairly new whiteboard and still nice and shiny. Then that can almost end up like the mirror trick that Keith probably gets into sometimes if he's getting a little bit impatient, right? Shining the mirror in people's eyes. Check the visibility from all angles, look at the size of the characters on the board, make sure that they're visible from the furthest seat away from you. If you're going to do a presentation, put the whiteboard where you want to use it, go to all different parts of the room, sit in different seats, have a look around and make sure that everyone's going to be able to see your presentation. Could be the most important person that can't see it. Build up the message. Don't just stand there writing everything up there. Build it up as you're presenting it. But when I say that, you also need to make sure you're talking to the audience. A lot of people use a whiteboard and talk to the boards. They're saying, and then you do this, and then you do that. Again, half the people at the back aren't going to be able to hear what's going on. And you're not going to get that participation, that communication with the people that you're presenting to. Keep it tidy when you finish details.